Welcome to Mindful Trading. All right, today we're going to be reviewing an EUR USD successful sell. All right, and so what we're going to do is take a look to see what we have marked up at the beginning of the week and go from there. For this trade, I'm using a very small account. It's a small live account, and I'm just using this for practice. Remember that we're still practicing, we're still getting better. We are taking trades, a few trades a week, and putting these trades in our journals so that we can decide what works best for us, so that when we do create a larger account, we'll know what to do and we'll be ready to go. All right, this is an important skill, and if we learn it and do a good job at learning it, then we will be set for a great way to supplement our income from here on out. All right, so when we take a look at this, we can see that EUR-USD has just formed somewhat of a double top. And here's an example of a double top on baby pips. You can see there's one top and then two tops. And that's kind of what our chart looks like now. Okay, and while we're waiting for this trade to play out, we're also going to talk about some of the things that you can do while you're waiting. Trading is often a waiting game, so it really makes a difference when you've got some other activities that you can be working on while you're waiting for your trade to play out or waiting for your setup to come up. So I'll be sharing some of those things too. And we'll pause here to remind everyone to please like and subscribe. And this chart was marked up in our newsletter that went out on Sundays. So if you're interested in joining our newsletter community, be sure to click on the link in the description. Taking a look at someone else's chart and seeing what they're noticing about the market and what might be coming up in the week ahead can often be helpful as we decide what trades to take and what we should be looking for in the market as well. All right, it always helps to be prepared. So we always want to look at the charts on the weekends so we can get prepared for what's coming up. So we're on the 1 hour time frame here on the 1 hour chart, and we can see that the trend line that we drew on Sunday was broken, and so we were waiting for a retest. And as we were waiting for that retest, we noticed that double tops formed. And that's often an indication that price is about to reverse in the opposite direction. So after it went up, it started to go down, and that was our signal to go ahead and get into the trade. And you can see that we've been in it for just a little while now. We've got our entry there right at 1.13628, and we're thinking of exiting right around the 1.13115 mark, and that is actually where price opened on Sunday. So that's a pretty good place to place your take profit. And then later on, we're going to go down to a 15-minute time frame, and I'll show you that there is actually a doji near that area too. If we look more closely, we can see a little doji, and we know that that was a place of indecision, and sometimes price goes back to that area. All right, so we can see price is moving pretty nicely now down towards our take profit. And so what we could do while we're waiting is, first of all, set an alarm. Either set an alarm on the chart or an alert on the chart, or you could set an alarm on your phone. And I usually use my phone a lot of times because I take it with me pretty much all over the house. So I might set an alarm for 15 minutes since I know I'm on the 1 hour time frame. So I might want to check it every 15 minutes to see where we are. And so that's what I would do first. Okay, and I'm pretty comfortable walking away from the charts for a while and doing something different because I know that I haven't over-leveraged. So that's another great way to be able to hold your trade, is knowing that you haven't over-leveraged and you have your alert set so that in 15 minutes you can come back and look to see where you are so far. You can read a book where you are, maybe catch up on some reading. Learning something new is great for our brain, so you could read any number of trading books while you're waiting for your trade to play out. It's a great way to learn even more information and take in more knowledge while you're learning this great skill. I enjoy reading books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That helps to get you in the mindset that you really need in order to supplement your income and earn more money. You could also read Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. That's about trading and getting your psychology right. And you could also read the Bible or another faith-based book that helps with your belief in yourself. There are lots of verses and passages in the Bible that remind you that, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, give you hope in a future. So have some books ready right next to your laptop so that you can have something to read and focus on while you're waiting for your trade. And the reason that we have our books ready is that we don't want to stare at the chart. That's one of the worst things that you can do while you're waiting for your trade to play out, is just kind of stare at it, mostly because you are a trader. And as a trader, you feel like you should be trading. So you might feel the urge to click, and maybe add a position or stop the play before it continues and plays out. All right, so that's one of the main reasons that we want to be sure that we're able to focus on something else while the trade is playing out. And you could also work on your journaling for trades. You could also work on journaling all of your trades or catching up on inputting any trades that you've taken in the past couple of days that you didn't journal. Go back and look at those charts, take screenshots of them and put them in your journal so that you can study and really be able to immediately see the setup that you're waiting for when it gets ready to play out. So that takes practice, but you can move along much faster if you write it down and journal it and then study it also. And I created a video about journaling a few weeks ago, and I'll leave the link for that down below. And there's also an opportunity to sign up to get a free journal template if you're interested in that and would like to use one similar to the one that I use. You can sign up for that, and that'll also put you on our email list so that you'll be able to get the newsletter on Sundays that helps to give you an outlook for the week. And I'm letting this trade play out just to give you an idea of how long it might take a trade to occur. I know when I first started, I was watching other people's videos and everything happened in like 1 or 2 minutes. But in reality, it could take 30 minutes or an hour for the full trade to play out. So I think it's important to be realistic, and that will really help you in being successful when you start to trade. Okay, and then here we can see that we've switched over to a 15-minute time frame. And what I'm going to do is move my stop loss a little bit closer, since we are continuing on down. So I'm going to move it kind of close to break even, since we're getting closer to our take profit. And you can do that as well. When your alarm goes off, kind of see where you are. Maybe you can move your stop loss into take profit, or at least move it closer to where you began so that you won't be risking quite as much. So as the trade moves in your favor, you can move your stop loss if you'd like. And what I'll also do, since we're getting closer to our take profit, is I'll go ahead and add an alert close to the area so that I know that it's about time to come on and pay attention and get ready to exit the trade. Okay, and as the trade starts to play out, I'll mention something called confluences. And when we took the trade, we noticed that there was a trend line break, and then there was also a double top on the 1 hour time frame. In addition to getting an engulfing downward candle. So all those things are called confluences. So you want to see at least 2 or 3 of those confluences when you get ready to take a trade. And that helps to give you confidence and lets you know that this trade is more likely to go in your favor. All right, so it looks like we're about halfway there, halfway to our take profit area. As we're looking at the chart on the 15-minute time frame. And if you look carefully, you can see where price opened. There's like a little doji where it opened on Sunday afternoon or evening. And so that's about where we're planning to target. So we'll keep an eye out for that. And now that it looks like we're certain that we're continuing downward, I'll go ahead and move my stop loss to a little bit beyond break even. And so what you would do if you had a larger account is you'd want to move it to break even, but just a little beyond so that you can cover whatever costs there are for trading in the live market. And that's just in case something happens and the market goes in the opposite direction. Okay, and price is moving right along, and we've got our alert set. And we could also set our alarm as well on our phones again, just to keep us aware and ready for exiting the trade pretty soon. And it's helpful to know when the trade ends because when it's over, we can go ahead and take a screenshot of the ending of the trade and go ahead and write down our journal entries while it's fresh in our minds. So you could journal and screenshot the beginning of the trade. You could take screenshots of where and when you decided to move your stop loss closer to break even, and when you decided to move it beyond break even, just beyond the break even point, so that you could receive enough money for commissions just in case it went the opposite direction. So these are all just little things we want to keep in mind when we're trading. And when you first start, it's helpful to have a log of what to do and in what order. And as I said before, I'm trading a small live account. I'm only trading 200 units. I'll show you how to remove some of your position size. You click the number in the middle, you decide how much you want to remove, and then you click buy. There we go, we click buy. And you can see that instead of 200 units, we now have 50 units. And so reducing your position size is one of the things that you can do if you find that price is starting to go in the opposite direction, or you just want to be sure that you have secured something before it starts to go in the opposite direction. And some people may be using lot sizes, so here's just a little reminder that I shared in one of the earlier videos about how many units make a lot in OANDA. Okay, it looks like we are getting closer to our take profit, and we're almost there. And as we said before, we removed some of our position size, and now we were only left with 50 units. And so let's see, we're going to wait just a few more minutes to see if price gets to our take profit line. Okay, and it looks like, there we go. Our take profit hit. So that's great. And now it's time to take a screenshot and journal our trade. Okay, I hope that you benefited from the video today. This gives you a realistic expectation of how long it takes for a trade to play out. It doesn't just happen really quickly like we see on some of the shorts. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to subscribe and like it, and also please leave a comment. Also, be sure to share it with anyone that you think could find value and benefit from it. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.